Alright guys, welcome back. First off, I got to announce the winner to the contest for who guessed the weight of the backhoe. And the winner of that contest was Callaway633. So Callaway's a subscriber. I appreciate your subscription. And you guessed closest to the weight. You guessed like 2730. So you were only 70 pounds off. The weight of the backhoe was 2,800 pounds. So, and you can see I only got $6.50 per 100. Man, scrap is just not what it used to be. But there you go. The weight of that backhoe was 2,800 pounds. So Callaway633, I'm sending you a t-shirt. I'll be messaging you for your details. So as everyone saw in the previous video, this backhoe has a crazy amount of slop. It goes from left to right. See that? See how I can just move that whole backhoe? That is way, way too much play in this. Look at this. I sneezed so hard I blew out my jean shorts. Christ. There we go. Puppy down. Yep, she moves, so that's good. Alright, so they're not independent linkages. So let's take this other bad boy out. Got my safety chain on. So let's pop. We'll just break the linkage. Okay. Pins out. So let's slide this puppy off. But you see that? I should not be able to move this thing that much. This is a 1-inch bolt. Came off nice. I hitting the ground? Wow, I'm close. Close to hitting the ground. I might have to use the stabilizer arm to pick her ass up. Well, as Spanky says, we're escalating out of control. I'm going to pop these rod caps off, the top, the bottom. I should be able to just push the cylinder out, and then I'm expecting there to be like clamshell bearings in there, or maybe it's a bushing. So either way, I'm going to pop those off and see what that looks like. So I popped these rod caps off, and this is what they look like. This, like if this was inside an engine, this would not look good, but like it doesn't look terrible. It really doesn't look terrible. This thing should just come out. Whoa! Okay. Can you imagine? Jesus! You guys see this? Yeah. Look at that. Too much slop. That's crazy. So whenever you're doing repair work like I'm doing now, it's always good to be reviewing a component manual, a manual that shows exploded diagrams, what the part numbers are, etc. What we're reviewing today is the John Deere 92 backhoe model. The John Deere 300B came with a 9250 and a 9250A. I'm not too sure how the 92 model got equipped to my backhoe, but that's what we got. If anybody needs exploded manuals like this, I have manuals for the 92. the 9250 and the 9250A. If you need them, I sell them for $3.50 each. So feel free to comment and let me know, and I can get you a copy. So we are moving ahead to the swing linkage, which is what we have apart here. So you can see this is that big cast arm I had, this is that one swing linkage, and this is like the master swing linkage that goes to the boom. This is the real heavy cast part. And what we're going to be replacing are the bushings 14. So you see we have these bushings in this swivel joint here. We're also replacing the bushing, these two bushings in the main swivel cast here. And we're also going to be replacing the bushings that are in these rod caps. Now, for whatever reason, they don't show the bushings here. They just show you the rod caps. But flipping ahead, right here, this is the swing cylinder itself, and the saddle that mounts to the swing cylinder. Here, number 6, these are the bushings as well. All right. So I already went ahead. I ordered these from John Deere, and so now it's time to replace them. Now, trying to get these bushings out typically are a total pain in the ass because they are pressed in there and you got to press them out. I don't have a press that big, but I do have a big hand. So we will get it in and we will get it out and we'll get a new one in. One thing I am going to do is I am going to put this roll pin under this cast arm. That way I got some clearance for this thing to land. And then I'm just going to put this rag there. So I'm going to soak this up with some PB Blaster. I like using PB Blaster for this stuff because it's thin. You could use like transmission oil mixture, whatever. You know, you just got to get this damn thing out of there. What I am going to try to use today, and this is a good tool that I'll put in the description below, but this is really a seal punch kit. Now, typically you have these seals are aluminum for you know, punching in like crank seals or oil seals, stuff like that. This is a steel set. So it's made to take a frickin' beating, and that's what we're going to do in here. So, all right, let's see how hard this goes. It's going super easy. Really, that's too easy. I mean, that's nice, you know, but this should be a lot tighter going in. So that's one pin. All right, next we have this swing linkage, and this one's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky because I have a bushing here and a bushing up top, and then there's a space in between. So I'm going to try and pound them through. I don't know if that'll be successful, though. One thing I wasn't using enough of were C-clamps, and I learned from some of the old-time pipe fitters that they love using their C-clamps to hold things. And so, shout out to you guys, because I was learning something there. Alright, it does not want to come, so it leaves me with no choice. Well, unfortunately I gotta use Doug again. He hates this. Oh, this is gonna be... Look at Doug. Man, what would you do without Doug? Tell you what, after Doug saw this one, these come out real easy. Look at that. So that one, this is that spacer. That's cool. So that's just a lube spacer. That's all it is. It's a gap filler. So you want to make sure that these ports are very clean. And again, I would... you gotta spray engine degreaser, PB Blaster, whatever. Try to dissolve some of that old hard grease that's in there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wire brush this with my drill. So what I'm doing here is I am measuring the difference between the new bushings and the old bushings. So on the farthest most swing linkage, if that makes sense, we had a total of 6 thousandths. I took the inner wall thickness, you times that by 2 because you got 2 walls. So 6 thousandths on this one. I got 10 thousandths on this one. And this one I got a big one. I got 27 thousandths on this one. So this one's really bad. I always think it's neat to look at the data to see what the difference is between like what was installed versus what you're going to install. Some of it's kind of like a reassurance test. You know, on some of these things, there's like 27 thousandths of an inch. That's crazy. I can tell you that. 6 thousandths of an inch, is that acceptable? That seems a little high to me, but you know, I don't really know. I can't find the original John Deere data on this one. If you guys know what it is, comment, let me know. But in any case, I'm going to get ready and install these parts. So after inspecting all the pins, everything looked good and seemed to be right within spec, except for the one swing linkage. So this one here, if you can look at it, you can see, you can visually see the rub marks, and there's material worn away here. I mean, you can feel it. So I want to replace this pin. I would only reuse if I absolutely had to, but there's really no need. I did pull a pin from the backhoe that we scrapped, and this is the exact same diameter. It's the right size diameter for that bushing. However, it's the wrong length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down so that I can replace this pin. Alright, so here's the old pin, here's the new pin. Turned out pretty good. I was able to machine a new one right to spec. So that's cool. Now we are going to install new bushings. So remember, this one here had a bushing at the top, a bushing at the bottom, and then a sleeve in the center. And it's hard to see, but there's a gap for that sleeve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this bushing in first, tap it in just about flush, flip it upside down, put this spacer in, and then go from there. So when I grease these machines for a heavy duty backhoe, I use heavy duty grease. But I'm not going to use heavy duty grease for the install. I'm using like medium duty grease, like red and tacky, which is what I'm going to use on this one, just to get this started on here. Alright, so with this all lubed up, what I'm going to do is try to tap this in uniformly. So I just get a little start. So on these bushings, they chamfer the edges here, so that way you get a uniform start when whacking these in. So for installing this, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with a block of wood and just start lightly tapping it in. That's what I do. Again, I'm not tapping this too crazy hard. If I had a press, I would press it in, but I don't have that. And it's going in. I'm actually going to leave this little bit standing out because I want to put in this spacer. So I'm going to lube up the spacer, drop this in, and then I'm going to put this other bushing right in there. As I'm getting closer to the end, I'm using my piece of aluminum to really hit this thing hard. You can see we're getting just about to it. And I want this thing pretty flush, and you know, we're out a little bit, which isn't a big deal. So I'm just going to leave that. Let's do this side. So now our bushing is installed. Alright, so I'm going to do the exact same thing with this linkage. I'm going to clean this up, and then I'm going to hammer the bushing in here. Alright, next I will install it. I would love to say there's an easy way to do this, but there's not. You just got to get down and dirty. So the first thing I'm going to do is lube up these bearings for the swing cylinder. And what I'm doing is I'm lubing up the whole thing, because there is this channel in here. So pretty much you can see that hole. So when you're injecting grease into the, I'll call it the rod caps because that's what I'm used to, but it's really the bushing caps. It's injecting grease all throughout this channel, which is an improved design from the old one. And it lubes it all the way through until it gets to the hole, and then starts injecting grease on the inside. So I am lubing the hell out of this thing with inside and out. And now there is a conical side here and a flat side here. The conical side goes towards the saddle, so like towards the piston. So I am actually, let me give it a little more. And we're going to do this right to the top. Okay. Holy grease. Nice. Alright, that's one. Let's do this one. Alright, so now that I got both of these greased the hell up, I'm going to install them on the bottom. And let's bring this cylinder back. So now I'm going to let that cylinder sit like that, and now I'm going to input the casting. Lots of grease. So let's get that nice and lubed up. Same thing, get the bottom of this puppy lubed up. The safety wackadoos. Woo! Now that's a fit, baby. I'm gonna put the rod caps on now while I got weight on this thing. I think it'll be easier. Now, if you guys can remember, I can move this thing a whole lot. I can just move this thing a hair. I can barely move this thing right now. So that's a good sign. That shows me we had a shitload of play in the rod caps. That's good. Well, she's definitely tighter. So although I'm not going to say we completely resolved the slop in the backhoe, we do have a little bit, but overall we reduced it greatly. And what's nice is I got a lot more control for me to do precision moves with the backhoe.